I need an ambulance.
What's wrong, ma'am?
My daughter fell in the pool and she's not breathing.
Who is this, or what is this?
My mama.
And what is she doing?
Killing my sister.
Hello everyone, namaste, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Amisha Singh Chauhan, and if you're new here and you're looking for something fun, dark and mysterious, then you're the right place. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also hit that bell icon so that every time I'm here with a new case to talk about, you'll get to know about it. So last week, we discussed about the twin murders of Arushi Talwar and Hemraj. That case was an unsolved murder mystery. We don't know where it happened, we don't know when it happened, we don't even know why it happened and what was the weapon that was used to make it happen or the people behind it. By the way, if you're someone who really finds JonBenét Ramsey's murder interesting, then you should definitely check out this case. I highly recommend. The link is in the description, so go check it out. So the reason of me mentioning this was, like I was saying, it's an unsolved murder mystery, but the case today we're going to talk about is a solved murder mystery. I know, how is it solved and how is it mystery at the very same time? Well, according to the law, according to legal system, it is a solved murder case. They have their guilty, they have convicted this person and sentenced them for life imprisonment. But the mystery is that a lot of people among us believe that this person who was convicted of killing, of murdering her own child is actually innocent. So let's find out what took place and the various events. The case revolves around a very small family from Esto, Florida, United States of America. A very small town, hardly population of 300 to 400 people. Now the family comprises of a single mother, Amanda Lewis, who was 27 at the time, and her two kids. The older one was Adriana Hutto, who was 7 years old and born on 16th of September 1999. She was someone who was described as very social and outgoing and cheerful little girl, whereas her younger brother was a complete opposite of her. His name is Andrew Jordan Hutto, commonly known as AJ. AJ was 6 years old then and he was born on 22nd of November 2000. Now, unlike his sister, he was very shy and quite reserved and very calm little boy. Now let's talk about the day the alleged murder took place. That was 8th of August 2007. Amanda Lewis was working as a nursing assistant, because of which oftentimes she would have long night shifts. And that day she came back from a long tiring night shift. She desperately needed a nap when she came home. So she decided that she would do that. But before that, she had the entire day planned out. The school was opening very soon, so she decided that she, along with her two kids, they would drive to the town and do some shopping for school supplies. But before that, like I said, she desperately needed a nap, and definitely being sleep deprived and driving with two kids was not a right decision. So she went for a nap, and after some time when she woke up again, she decided to do some chores before she left for the town. Now the kids, they wanted to go outside and play in the pool. There was this outdoor inflatable pool, but Amanda told the kids that there wasn't so much time for them to go and get wet and then dressed up again. So instead she asked if they could go outside and just play with whatever toys they had outside. The kids did that. So while she was doing her chores, all of a sudden AJ entered the kitchen. She was in the kitchen. Now this is where the first red flag stands. Like, this is where people really suspect Amanda Lewis. So AJ told Amanda that Adriana was in the pool. Now the thing is that in her defense, Amanda said that she assumed that when AJ said that Adriana is in the pool, he meant that she was playing by the pool. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's what she said. So anyways, she did not understand the severity of the situation, and instead of rushing out and seeing what was happening with Adriana, she asked AJ to ask her to come inside the house. AJ left the kitchen and she got back to doing whatever she was doing. After some time, she realized that the house was very quiet and she couldn't hear the kids. Now, she remembered that she had asked AJ to come inside with Adriana, so she checked out, and when she went outside, she saw AJ by the edge of the pool and he was trying to get hold of Adriana. When she got closer, she found Adriana floating in the water. Now, what happens is that she immediately took out Adriana from the pool and she gave her a CPR before dialing 911. The first responders arrived at the scene, and and one of them actually said that they could feel that Adriana was still warm, and while giving a CPR, he felt a pulse. So they immediately rushed her to a nearest hospital, which was Bay Medical, with Amanda as well. Now, as soon as they arrived, within an hour, Adriana was pronounced dead at 5:05 p.m. Now, until this time, the police officers, they saw all of this as an accidental drowning. So they had their own version, which they believe would have happened. So they believed that Amanda was in the kitchen, she was doing her chores, and the kids, AJ and Adriana, they were playing outside. Now the thing is that Adriana or AJ, they couldn't have made it inside the pool without any assistance. The ladder that they would oftentimes use to get inside the pool was actually locked in a shed. The dimensions of the pool was 16 feet across and 4 feet deep. So like I said, it wasn't possible for Adriana or AJ to get inside the pool without assistance. Now there were a lot of pictures that were taken by the first responders when they arrived at the scene. Now in one of these pictures, you can clearly see a red colored rusty wagon. So the police officers, they believed that Adriana might have been standing on this wagon and she was trying to fish out bugs from the pool. And that is when she accidentally slipped and she got inside the pool and she panicked and she died by drowning. Now this is their version. They believed that it was an accident until they received a phone call from AJ and Adriana's grandparents. That is Amanda's mother and her stepfather. Now the thing is that after Amanda and Adriana were taken by the first responders to a nearest hospital, AJ's grandfather, step-grandfather, actually ex-step-grandfather, he came and he took AJ with him back to his house. Now the phone call that the police officers received from the grandparents, they said that the police officers should definitely and immediately speak with AJ because he was saying some alarming things. So immediately AJ was called to the police station where he was going to be questioned by a police officer. Now this is what happened. This is the version according to AJ Hutto, who was 6 years old then. Now according to AJ, Adriana did something that day that she wasn't supposed to do, which we would later find out that she actually sprayed glass cleaner inside the house. So when Amanda got to know about this, she got really mad. She got really angry. So she dragged her outside, and in order to punish her, she started dunking her in the pool. Dunking is the exact same word that AJ used while explaining the entire activity.
Mama dunked my sister.
What does that mean?
Drowned.
Now, when the police officer questioned him about what he meant by dunking, he replied by saying drowning, end quote. He even further showed the police officer how his mother was dunking Adriana allegedly.
Adrian was laying like this and Mom was holding him like this so she wouldn't scream.
Now, when the police officers got this information from his testimony, they immediately launched an investigation on Amanda Lewis. Now, while they were investigating Amanda, they got to know about several things. For instance, Adriana Hutto was actually diagnosed of ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Adriana was more on the age part. In fact, in a lot of interviews, you can hear Amanda saying that Adriana was an attention seeker. Now, when Adriana was a very little girl, when she was an infant, Amanda was in the military. So for a very long period of time, she was absent from Adriana's life. Now, consequently, what happened was that when she came back, it was very difficult for her to bond with her little baby girl. But according to Amanda, things got better, things got improved over some time. Adriana's ADHD was to such an extent that she even spent almost a week in a behavioral center. Amanda herself had said that her temper with Adriana was worse as compared to that with AJ. Now, during the investigation, the first thing that the investigators did was they went to the trailer, to the house where these people were living. At the very first glance, the investigators knew that the children were neglected by Amanda Lewis. There were signs of neglect everywhere in the house. The entire house, it stank of urine, and the condition of their bedrooms were worse. In fact, it is said that Adriana's bed sheets weren't even cleaned for several months, and she was a bedwetter. So you can only imagine how filthy and how unhygienic the entire place was. This was not the only thing that they noticed was absurd. One of the investigators noticed that this house, which was of 2 kids, did not even have a single toy in the entire premises. So when they asked Amanda about this, Amanda replied saying that the kids had actually fallen into some trouble and she had taken all of their toys as a punishment and locked them in the shed. Now, I don't know what she was thinking when she lied this, because when the police officers went to the shed, they did not find any toy or any trace of it, in fact. Now, on further investigation, they found out that when Amanda was 17 years old, she actually had a little baby boy named Alex. When Alex was over a year old, he mysteriously died. Now, at the time, people believed that it was because of a seizure, but after Adriana's death, people really started questioning the legitimacy of the reason of Alex's death. Now, they even went to Dr. Linda Fox. Dr. Linda Fox was the doctor who took care of Adriana when she was at Bay Medical. Dr. Linda Fox told the investigators that she had weird, peculiar conversations with Amanda. For instance, when she was still treating Adriana, she actually had a pulse. She got a pulse, but it did not last long. When she was doing medical procedures on her, she went outside to explain the entire treatment and procedures to Amanda. It is something very common that the doctors do. They oftentimes tell the family, they explain everything. So she was doing exactly that. And at the end of it, when she asked Amanda if she had any question regarding the medical treatment, Amanda replied by asking where vending machine is. I know. I mean, this is not something you would expect a parent would ask to a doctor when their child is in such a critical condition. And for a lot of people, it is one of the places where red flags are definitely raised. So anyways, this was one incident. The second one was when she told her about Adriana's death. When she told her that Adriana was no more, she did not react at all. Amanda did not give any reaction. She looked quite normal, and she definitely did not look like a parent who had just heard about the demise of their child. Now, a side note over here, see, the thing is that I have studied psychology, I have a degree in it, and even apart from that, I've seen this among a lot of people that human beings are very different from each other. Every human reacts to a certain situation differently. So we cannot compare. For instance, when I am angry, when I'm super mad, I would just go quiet. I won't say anything. I won't react or throw stuff, throw my hands here and there. I would just lock myself in a room. Whereas on the other hand, with my sister, it's completely different. Let's just say that she's very expressive when she's angry. So what I'm trying to say is, only because I'm not screaming and yelling and saying angry words does not mean that I'm not angry. Similarly, if someone is not reacting, is not crying and screaming and yelling and mourning at the very same time, does not mean that they are not mourning. I mean, it is my opinion, and it is something that I've even studied about. Every person's reaction to grieving is different. But anyways, nevertheless, to be said that when you see the entire situation, entire picture, then it definitely looks very strange. Now, with all of this information, the police officers arrested Amanda Lewis in September of 2007 for first-degree murder of Adriana Hutto, who was 7 years old then. She was even offered a plea bargain if she pled guilty to manslaughter, for which she would have been sentenced 10 years in jail. But Amanda declined. She said that she knew that she was innocent and she was not going to accept it, and she went for the trial. Now, before I go ahead with the trial, I would like to mention two important points over here. The first thing is that Amanda Lewis actually went through a polygraph test, which in normal language is lie detector test. Now, she completely passed this test. Though at the same time, I would mention this is that polygraph test is not 100% accurate. I've spoken about these tests, especially narco tests, and very specific in my previous video, and a lot of times in various courts around the world, it is not reliable, neither it is taken into consideration. Now, the second thing I would mention over here is that previously, when AJ was questioned, he was questioned by a police officer, someone who was not trained to question or to interrogate a child. Now, the thing is that someone so young as AJ, who has witnessed an alleged crime, that kid has to be dealt very sensitively while questioning him or her regarding these alleged criminal events. So it is always suggested, it is always expected actually, that a child specialist, a child psychologist takes care of all the questioning and the interrogation. Now, like I said, the first time it was a police officer, so they had to get a child specialist for the second time to ask him the same questions about these events. Now the thing is that overall the story, overall the events which were relayed by AJ was same, it was similar, but there were few minute details that changed. For instance, once he would say that he was playing around a garbage can tree. Now there was this tree in front of his house where they would keep this garbage can, so he would call that tree the garbage can tree. While he was talking to the specialist, sometimes he would say that he was playing in the tree, sometimes he would say that he was playing around the tree, sometimes he would say that he was near the pool while the mother was dunking Adriana, and sometimes he would say that he did not even see this happening. So because of these contradictory statements, a lot of people believe that A, there's a possibility that AJ was lying, or all of these statements were actually result of his vivid imagination, or B, that he had been coached. And when this point comes, people directly point towards Amanda's stepfather, AJ and Adriana's ex-step-grandfather, Charles Burns. Charles Burns was married to Amanda's mother, but I guess they are divorced now. Now, it is quite known that Charles and Amanda did not have a good relationship. The relationship was very rocky. So like I mentioned previously, that when Amanda and Adriana were taken to the hospital by the first responders, Charles, the step-grandfather, actually took AJ back to his house. Now, the distance between AJ's house and AJ's grandparents' house was roughly an hour's drive. Now, it is believed that while Charles was driving AJ to his place, this entire hour he was alone with AJ. So he might have had coached him to say all of these things and to accuse his own mother of murdering his own sister. In his defense, Charles says he agrees that he does not have a good relationship with Amanda. At the same time, he also is very adamant on fact that Amanda was a terrible mother. She was very neglectful of her kids, but he would never in his life would do something like this. Anyways, the trial took place in February of 2008 and it was highly covered by media. Now, at the very first stage of the trial, AJ was asked about if he knew the difference between a truth or a lie. It is very important in court when a kid is being the witness for the court to understand and for the court to know that this kid knows the difference between a truth and a lie. And in my opinion, AJ gave a very good answer for someone of his age. Anyways, he was asked where his mother was, and by the way, he hadn't seen his mother for 6 months, and he told the prosecutor that his mother was in the jail. He had no idea that his mother was actually sitting just a couple of feet away from him. He couldn't even recognize her. So when the prosecutor pointed towards Amanda, he saw her and he immediately broke down.
That woman sitting right there between them, have you ever seen her before?
Yes, sir.
Who is that?
My mother.
Now you recognize your mother?
Yes, sir.
Here.
I would just say one thing that, when I was watching the entire court trial, when I saw this thing, when I saw AJ breaking down in front of everyone, it is said that a lot of people in the court had tears in their eyes, even people from the jury. That was one time when, that was one of those times when I literally sat down and literally started questioning everything, like why I was doing this. It's just so difficult to watch someone so young and pure to go through all of that. So anyways, the prosecutor was questioning him about the various events and he started answering them. He would say yes sir, no sir. He was such a polite young boy. Now when the prosecutor was done with relaying the events and questioning him, the cross-examination was done by the defense attorney. Now when defense attorney came in for cross-examination, AJ again started giving contradictory statements. For the very same question that the prosecutor asked and the same question that the defense attorney asked, AJ gave two different answers. For instance, he would say that he saw Adriana being drowned outside of the pool. Then he would give statements like Adriana was dunked before they went to a park and even after they came back from the park. So because of these contradictory statements, the defense attorney said that AJ cannot be taken as a witness over here. Now, the entire case of the prosecutor, it was based on AJ's testimony. but they had other evidences as well. For instance, the medical examiner took stand over here. Now, this medical examiner had done the autopsy on Adriana, and with photographical evidence, the medical examiner told that Adriana had bruises on her face, especially on her forehead. And these bruises matched the original statement, the original testimony that was given by AJ on how his mother was dunking his sister.
I placed my hand over the bruises, and it lined up perfectly with the side of my left thumb.
And if you would, ma'am, just use your left hand demonstrating to the jury how that would have been.
To which the defense attorney argued that this bruise could have been inflicted by any one of the first responders or the medical staff who took care of Adriana. Now, these 15 people, they actually took stand and they told the court that they did not do so. In fact, one of them even stated that Adriana had these bruises even before she arrived at the hospital. There were other people who took stand in the court as well during the trial. One of them was Amanda's ex-worker. Now, according to this ex-worker, just a couple of months before the murder took place, the alleged murder took place, Amanda entered the office full enraged, and she was really mad at Adriana because Adriana had used a permanent marker to damage her car. In fact, she even said that I'm going to kill her, I cannot take this anymore, end quote. To which Amanda said in her defense that she just used it as a figure of speech and it was a statement that was blown out of proportion. Now, the next person who took the stand was Amanda's mother, AJ and Adriana's grandmother. She gave a very shocking statement. She said that Adriana was terrified of water to such an extent that you can say that she had phobia of water. So this to a very large extent discards the defense attorney's theory of Adriana trying to fish out bugs from the pool. Because see, it's simple. You don't have to be a psychologist to know this, that if any kid, if anyone who's very young is scared of something, they would not go willingly near it. Okay, so if Adriana was really scared of water, really terrified of it, she will not willingly go near the water body or would try to fish out bugs from it. Now, all of these evidences were given to the jury in a 4-day trial. Now, after 2 hours of deliberation, which also includes lunchtime, a lot of people question this and find it unfair. So anyways, the jury came to the verdict and they found Amanda Lewis guilty of first-degree murder of murdering her own daughter, Adriana Hutto, to which she was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Amanda's supporters, Amanda's mother, she said that even if Amanda was emotional, she was not of the type to be very expressive about it. In 2010, Amanda's legal team appealed in the court, which was unsuccessful and the conviction affirmed. Now, the people who believe that Amanda is innocent, they base this opinion on the basis of 2 things. Firstly, AJ was either lying or whatever he was saying was his vivid imagination, was result of it. Now, there's another group of people who support Amanda and who believe in her innocence. Now, according to them, the thing is that a lot of people who have ADHD, when they were younger, they suffered from several seizure attacks. So, according to them, they believe that there is a possibility that Adriana, who was diagnosed with ADHD, while she was playing around the pool, somewhere around it, she had a seizure attack and she somehow slipped inside the pool. And there was a frying pan, by the way, in the pool. So she might have hit her head on it and she got all those bruises. And because of the seizure, she drowned. If you ask me personally, I don't know. I mean, there are some times where I believe that there is a possibility of her being innocent, but overall, what I think could have had happened is that Adriana did something that she shouldn't have done, and that definitely angered Amanda to a large extent. So much so that she dragged her outside and she took her to the pool and she dunked her as a form of corporal punishment. And in the fit, in that moment, she could not control her anger, and only after she realized that Adriana had died while she was dunking her, she realized her mistake and she got all panicked. And whatever reaction she had to that news, to finding out that Adriana died because of her, could be heard during the 911 call or when the defense attorney said that she actually puked when she found out about her death. I mean, this is my opinion. I feel like, yes, she did murder Adriana, but it just happened in fit. I'm not defending her, it's definitely wrong. And the thing is that no matter what the truth is, one thing is for sure, that Amanda Lewis was a neglectful mother. But is she guilty of drowning her own daughter beyond reasonable doubt? That's the question, you know. I would love to know your opinion, your views on it. What do you think has happened? Also, I believe that yes, AJ's statements were contradictory, but I believe that the first time whatever he told the police officers was the real truth, okay? After that, the thing is that kids exaggerate. They lie. They definitely lie. But at the same time, they are very truthful as well. And they can exaggerate little things as well. There are so many possibilities with the kids. Now, I would love to know your opinion on this. I definitely mean no disrespect or harm to anyone. I just gave out my opinion. I would love to know your opinion. Put them in the comment section. I would read them all and definitely reply to it as well. Anyways, here we come to the end of this video. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, then do hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, then subscribe as well. And that's all for the day. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.